WrestleMania weekend, it's not just a WWE spectacle. It's the Super Bowl of pro wrestling. But beyond the pyro, massive arenas, and viral WWE moments, something else is happening. Something raw, something creative, something that reminds fans what professional wrestling can be in its purest, most diverse form. All across Las Vegas during WrestleMania 41 week, indie promotions from around the world came to stake their claim. To prove that wrestling is more than one company, more than one style, more than one ring, because while WWE has the machine, the production, the reach, it doesn't have a monopoly on heart. Take a stroll outside Allegiant Stadium and you'd find venues pulsing with wrestling from all walks of the sport. Technical clinics, brutal shoot-style battles, Lucha Libre masterpieces, death matches, grappling showcases, comedy spots, veterans colliding with rising stars. It was all there. One of the undisputed cornerstones of this movement is Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. This isn't your average wrestling show. It's not even sports entertainment. Bloodsport is primal. No ropes, no pinfalls, just knockouts and submissions. Inspired by the UWF and UWFI style of the 80s and 90s, it's a love letter to Japanese shoot-style wrestling, with modern brutality and raw intensity layered on top. This year's Bloodsport show didn't just deliver, it kicked down the door. First off, Charlie Dempsey. The man is a technician through and through. In a match that felt like it was plucked straight from the VHS tape of a 1991 UWF event, he put on a grappling masterclass. No gimmicks, no fluff, just holds, counters, grit, and violence. And he wasn't alone. Natalya Neidhart stepped into Bloodsport with something to prove. Known for her WWE legacy, she showed the world she's more than just a product of the Hart Dungeon, she's still evolving. She took that no-ropes environment and made it her own. No flash, just fire. Carmen Petrovic and Shayna Baszler. Talk about intensity. Baszler returned to her MMA roots, and Petrovic gave her a war. Strikes echoed through the venue like gunshots in a vault. Every suplex looked like it hurt the soul. This wasn't just a match, it was a test of who could endure more pain. And then there was Karrion Kross. Say what you will about his WWE presentation, in Bloodsport, he felt unleashed. His opponent, Pete Dunne, met him strike for strike, limb for limb. Dunne's joint manipulation met Kross's brute strength in a fight that felt like a car crash in slow motion. Deliberate, violent, beautiful. Tavion Heights is a name you're going to hear more of. His background in amateur wrestling came through loud and clear, and he looked like a future Bloodsport staple. Everything about his movement was sharp, calculated, and disciplined. But this wasn't just about Bloodsport. All over the city, you could find matches that belonged in highlight reels for decades to come. At GCW's Spring Break, you had chaos incarnate. Death matches with light tubes, glass, and literal fire. A high-flying tag showcase that saw wrestlers flip from balconies to concrete. GCW doesn't care about polish. It cares about passion. At WrestleCon Super Show, legends clashed with new blood. Ultimo Dragon still gliding through the air. Mike Bailey delivering machine gun kicks to anyone who got in his path. Matches you'd never think you'd see, like dream booking, livin' unscripted. Lucha Libre World brought the color and charisma of Mexico to Vegas. Masked warriors dancing on the ropes. Crowd chants in Spanish. Children watching their heroes fly. It was more than a show, it was a cultural celebration. Defy Wrestling delivered with its unmatched atmosphere. Dark rooms, loud music, and a crowd that lives and dies with every bump. There, Nick Wayne reminded everyone why AEW sees him as a star of the future, and Swerve Strickland reminded everyone why he never stopped being one. You want stiff strikes. Prestige Wrestling had it. You want chain wrestling. West Coast Pro delivered. You want something strange, offbeat, unforgettable. Effie's Big Gay Brunch gave you a buffet of the bizarre and brilliant. It was everywhere. You could go from an 11 a.m. technical match in a hotel ballroom to a midnight ultraviolent match in a parking garage. WrestleMania week was Disneyland for wrestling fans, but instead of one Magic Kingdom, there were dozens. And each one had its own tone, its own vision. It's a reminder, WWE might be the biggest player, but it's not the only player. And maybe that's the most important part. Because when fans pack into those smaller rooms, when they chant for someone they've never seen before, When a quiet moment turns into a standing ovation, that's wrestling too. So if you spent all of WrestleMania week watching only the main card, you missed out on a universe of storytelling, violence, creativity, comedy, and courage. And that's okay. Because the good news is, wrestling never stops. And if you look just outside the bright lights of the big show, you'll find a world that's just as passionate. Just as wild. Just as worthy. WrestleMania may be the headline, but the soul of pro wrestling is everywhere.